we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining today. Again, as you get into the room, if you could just drop your name, where you're from, school district, the traditional Zoom behaviors, if you could drop that in the chat, that way we get a feel of who's all here today. Really appreciate you joining the conversation around something we're awfully excited about here at Learner Centered Collaborative, the idea and the presence and the launch of Learner Centered Connections. Our hope today is to get beyond the information you see on the website, to dig a little bit deeper, provide you an overview of the Learner Centered Collaborative Connections and dig into this concept of micro networks. Want to frame things up for you, but also pick your brains and give you an opportunity to think about what it is you might be interested in should you join our first cohort of micro connections or micro networks. So we're going to jump in today. We'll do some introductions really fast, dig into the overview of our connections framework, share a little bit of information about the types of experiences we're dreaming up, and this notion of co-creating this presence of the micro networks and the professional learning is going to have for us. So if you're ready to go, we're ready to go. We're going to jump back into the conversation. If you got pens, let's click them a couple of times and get ready to scribble a little bit of information down. Just want to introduce ourselves. My name is Marlon Styles. I'm the proud partner at Learner Centered Collaborative. I've been part of the team here for a little over a month. We've got an unbelievable team with great experience, doing wonderful things with over 150 school districts, state departments of education across the country. Got a thriving learner-centered community. I'm super excited to have you join us today. You can see our Chief Executive Officer and our Chief Impact Officer here as well, two beautiful minds who really lead the charge around all things learner-centered across the country. So what we'd like to do right now is get you a little bit active. I just want to see what's on your mind, right? This idea of co-creating is going to be kind of a theme for the day as you think of learner-centered connections. So a standard Zoom chat behavior here and activity. There's always a question that anyone always throws anytime you have a presentation in Zoom. So here's a question I want to pose to the room. More of just kind of a statement type thing, right? Think about the last time or something recent where you had different partners, different colleagues, a team of stakeholders, whoever they may be, that you've actually co-created something with, right? This idea of you didn't walk in, somebody handed you the template, handed you the framework, and told you to press the go button. You actually sat at a table as a collective and you co-created whatever that solution may be. So if you could drop kind of just some little nuggets around what that may have been, just for conversation, throw that in the chat. As we get into the next slide. And again, if you have your microphone on. Yeah, Naomi, we got a Zoom bomber. I love those. Haven't had one of those in a while. If you could mute our Zoom bomber, please, that'd be fantastic. Thank you for Zoom bombing us. It's been a minute since that's happened. Missed those days. We'll go to the next slide and keep jumping here. As we dig through this concept of learner-centered connections, I want to hone our thoughts in our organization's vision, mission, and values. These are things that we live every single day. These are things that we portray as we partner with educators across the country. But we also are going to lean into this framed idea of a micro network around our vision, mission, and values. As you take a look at our vision statement here, it is about education communities, right? And creating a community where the learners are at the center of everything that we do and our learners are able to thrive. Our commitment to you as a learner in this experience is to make it meaningful, but to create an experience where you can thrive as a learner-centered leader and really think about some things you want to do in your school communities. As we think about our organization's mission statement, which is the next slide, I want you to really think about this notion that we're going to partner together. As we partner together, we're going to create some conditions for you as the learner to be able to experience something meaningful. Here's where this idea of co-creating comes into play. The Learner Centered Collaborative, as you look at our vision and mission statement, we truly believe, and we practice what we preach as we partner with over 150 districts and organizations across the country. We really believe that we put the learner at the center of the table, and with the learner, we are co-creating this idea of the learner outcomes. We're creating experiences and conditions so that learning can really be amplified. Our commitment to you in this micro network is to put you at the center of the table, not deliver something to you, but actually put you at the center of the table as the learner. And we're going to pick your brain as a network to see what your desired outcomes are for the experience. Our job and commitment to you from Learner Center Collaborative is to create a meaningful experience that aligns to your aspirations as a learner. Again, just holding true to our vision and our mission statement. As we get into our values as an organization, you'll see some value statements here, all things that will embed in part of the connection experience that we're putting together. So what I'd like to do now is move into our next slide and really get into the conversation around framing up this idea of micro networks. Before we frame it up, I just want to kind of level set everyone. We have some interest. We have some of our partners who do not have any experience or background around learner-centered. We have some partners who are on the call today and have expressed interest that have been partners of Learner Center Collaborative for a number of years and are well into the process of doing some phenomenal things in their school communities around learner-centered approaches. So what we wanted to do today is just kind of present you with a collaborative approach. I won't take 50 minutes and dig through each of these one by one or even read to you on the screen. We're all highly educated people. You can take a look and kind of see from left to right, not necessarily in a linear piece, but you can kind of see the wide variety of possibilities that we can partner and co-create together as we go on this journey around learner-centered. Our goal is to connect, learn, grow, and share our experiences together in this present idea of micro network. Again, some of the folks on the call are present in a number of these areas on the screen. Some of us are just considering this concept of learner-centered. So just know that as we build this micro network, this is a great graphic for us to continue to kind of level set our mindsets on and think about some co-created areas that we want to dig into as far as experiences. So I just want to present that to you because we've got a wide variety of knowledge base when it comes to learner-centered. So here we go. Here's the exciting piece today. It's what you came for. Announcing. For the first time. Now we'll get into that conversation, right? That was like the guy in the boxing ring introducing the two boxers, right? Ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. Micro networks. The idea here is as you think about networks, right? Think about your professional learning environments. For the last 6 years, I've been a superintendent in a medium-sized district here in the state of Ohio, urban background. But in our experience as leaders, what I've heard from colleagues across the country is we always show up to these conferences. We show up to these cohort experiences. We show up to these certification programs. We always show up and they've already kind of structured the professional learning already. We sign up for a topic and then we live in that topic time and time again. And that learning experience is delivered to us. We receive that learning experience, and then we have to decipher how we can and cannot apply that to our everyday practices and service-minded initiatives in our school district. So we're going to flip the script. We're going to create an environment where we're going to co-create this experience together, right? We're going to find ways to identify the cohort's aspirations. We'll get into the number of individuals in the cohort. We'll figure out what your aspirations are. We'll listen. We'll digest what those aspirations are. And then as a learner-centered team, we're going to create those conditions based on your aspirations as a collective cohort. The power in this is that we feel we'll be able to deliver something super meaningful to you as an individual team, but more importantly, as a cohort in general. So what we're framing up is an experience. This is not just coming to learn about learner-centered approaches, or the framework. This is about coming together to experience, right? Learning is an experience, right? Observing in the field is an experience, but also some unique pieces we want to add into this, we believe, really differentiate what we're able to provide compared to some other professional learning environments. So what we have framed up is this idea of a couple things. Number one, we've got some in-person connections that we want to offer you, right? These are opportunities for you with colleagues that are in a cohort to come together from across the country and spend time in person learning together, sitting at the same table. We're also, in the feedback we received from some folks across the country, we've also discovered that there is absolute power in getting out into the field to see what is possible, right? I know in our small little portion of this world, we know what's possible here in Southwest Ohio, as far as it comes to different types of learning environments. But there is power in getting out into the field to schools who are going to show us some of the wonderful learner-centered approaches and things they're doing for kids and staff in their districts. There's power in getting out to see that. There's also feedback from the field as well, other learner-centered partners. It is powerful to bring industry partners into the fold to talk about different types of opportunities to provide experiences that are learner-centered as well. So we're going to offer you in-person convenings. We're also going to create opportunities for us to get out in school districts to go see some of those great things. And also, depending on what region we're in, really connect the different industry visits as well. The power of this collaborative is the fact that this is a micro network, right? This is not 100 people sitting in a room calling it a cohort. This is a very small affinity group where we can lean on each other as we tackle different shared learning aspirations together, and the affinity group based on shared interests. We can really customize the experience and lean on each other. You see some additional virtual things there at the bottom that will provide as part of the folded in experiences of this micro network. We'll talk application here in just a second. You'll see that application period pop up in another time as well. But as we get into kind of this piece here, I want to get a little bit deeper into the micro networks. Next slide, if you don't mind, please. This idea of it's a social process, right? We can't do this alone. And there's power in convenings when we're with colleagues. This idea of micro networks is built on the fact that we discover possibility as we go through a process to identify what conditions and experiences we want to create for our students. I heard someone this weekend talk about our most creative minds find comfort when they live in between the idea of a problem and a solution. And oftentimes good minds find a solution in that space. They get attracted to that first solution and they run with it. Great minds in that space, that comfortable space between problem and solution, they find different ways to enjoy the design thinking process and go through different iterations of a potential solution or prototype until they find the right one. As you think about a network, right? Think about a lot of beautiful minds from different walks of life all over this country coming together to live in that comfortable space of going through iteration around finding learner-centered approaches for the communities that they serve. I'm going to give you a quick story. I was part of a micro network in another organization. We traveled up to Philadelphia to a school district called Ephrata Area School District. Superintendent Brian Troop up there. I tell this story all the time. A number of different school leaders, part of this network, about 15 people came together. Problem statements were presented, big giant ideas around what they were wanting to do for the future. And then thought partnership really engaged. We were able to offer some ideas and insights about that particular problem statement. That doesn't happen if there's no physical convening, no mental convening, and at the time this wasn't virtual. But if that convening doesn't happen of the beautiful minds, sometimes you can be lost in isolation. So this idea of taking site visits, this idea of having affinity groups around different learning aspirations, the power is in the social process, right? Us leaning together from different school communities to explore what is possible. And that's exactly what we want to offer you inside this micro network here at Learner Centered Collaborative Connections. Naomi, let's get into kind of some of the benefits of it, right? In the next slide. As you think about the power of networks and micro networks, we believe, this is a we statement, we believe the items you see there really allow us to find an opportunity to do some beautiful things collectively together. As you look at that map there, you can see where learner-centered partners are located across the country. Hopefully that's in the town that you're pretty close to. But you can also see, as we think about networks, that we can leverage the presence of learner-centered experiences across the country to build social capital, right? To create some diversity in our voices, and more importantly, just create thought partnerships and affinity groups as we go to design different types of learner-centered experiences. So really excited about the potential of this. We're definitely looking forward to convening different learner-centered minds and teams from across the country to really diffuse this idea of it's a struggle for innovation to happen. We actually see a lot of possibilities in that happening. So as you think about micro networks, we're really excited to really explore this concept. So go to the next slide. I want to frame this up for us just a little bit. We want to approach this as we're looking for 12 learner-centered connections teams. You can be a school district, you can be a state department of education, building teams. We saw a wide variety of those who expressed interest. What we're looking for are teams. And teams, we want to keep them super small, right? Our idea is that this is not 200 people going through a cohort. If you think of a team can be 3 to 4 people on a connections team representing your school community or whatever your community may be. As you think about who's on that, we do want those beautiful minds. You want those big visionary minds. If superintendents are present, love for superintendents to be part of the conversation. If you're looking at school redesign, if that's your building leader, but make sure those right folks are part of it. A good way to think about this also, again, we're also always trying to scale leadership and develop future leaders. If you've got an aspiring leader who might not necessarily be a superintendent or a building administrator, district administrator, great opportunity to bring an aspiring leader to the team and build those skill sets for the future, knowing that that opportunities may present themselves down the road. The thought here is that we have a small convening of learner-centered minded teams to call our cohort our connections cohort. So again, looking for members, about 4 members, 5 members at the most would be a sweet spot here. What we've got lined up is this idea of in-person convenings. And this is just for the cohort only. We are framing up as part of the micro network 2 in-person convenings. I want to share some detailed information with you so you kind of know the experience you're looking for. We're proposing a fall and a spring convening for the cohort. Fall convening first. Let me back up here. We have proposed dates after the application process. What we promised to do is present the proposed dates. We all know we have different school calendars and different priorities based on just availability of team members. So we'll propose the dates for the convenings to the first cohort. We'll get some feedback from you and we'll co-create those final dates. Just know that the dates aren't final. The fall convening, what we've got lined up is we have a number of learner-centered partners in beautiful San Diego, California, where you know the weather is fantastic year-round. Not sure about you right now. It's chilly outside and rainy and cloudy, and gray, sunny sky, Ohio. But the fall convening will be with several of our partners in San Diego, California. We've got about 3 or 4 different sites that we've identified. We're crafting up what that experience looks like. But these are partners who have gone through deep school redesign. These are partners that are truly innovative in their approach to create learner-centered communities for the children that they serve. We also have several different industry partners in the fall in San Diego. They're going to join us as part of this experience to talk about some of those connections between K-12 and workforce. The springtime, what we're going to propose is that a member of the micro network actually volunteer to host the site visit, right? So these are in-person meetings, no doubt about it. In-person meeting, no doubt about it. We want to give our members of the cohort a chance to showcase the great things you're doing in your school communities, in your school systems. So that is to be determined who and where, but just know that should you apply and get accepted into the cohort, we'll be calling on the cohort to find some courage bringing that out together. As part of that conversation, just like in San Diego in the fall, we want to get out into your school buildings. We want to get out in your school communities. We want to showcase the wonderful things. We also want to partner with you on identifying an industry partner that might be able to come in and kind of help amplify some of our learning. In addition to all that experience, I'll stay on those first two bullets. If you're curious about what some of the learning will be, again, I want to hold true to our mission, our vision, and our values as an organization. We see you as learners. In regards to learners, we want to put you at the center. And that third bullet there, right? We want to co-create the learning experience in those first 2 bullets on the program overview. If you want to ask me what I'm going to present to you, if you want to ask what the learning is going to be, Uncomfortably, I want to tell you, we don't know yet, right? But that's intentional. So we want to hear from you about your aspirations. We'll go back to the lab, we'll dream up the experience, and then walk you through a process to really reach our desired outcomes as an affinity group, right? As a micro network. So that's the exciting proposal we want to really try to recruit you right now with, is that we're not coming with anything prepackaged. We truly want to treat this as a customized experience for you as the learner, affinity group. Make sure we deliver on what your aspirations are. Now, that might sound like more work for us. If that is the concept that you're taking away from this conversation, then that is actually affirming in regards to what we were thinking. Beyond the in-person convenings that you see there, we will have a number of virtual meetings. We'll engage in some learning as well. Again, the schedule to be determined based on the affinity group that we put together in the micro network. In between virtual and in-person convenings, we will offer you individual team executive coaching sessions around learner-centered, all based around your problem statement, and offer you conversation as you go throughout that learning experience. Again, this is something that's specifically for your team outside of the cohort convenings. Our effort and our commitment is just trying to help amplify and accelerate your learning. More importantly, accelerate some of the concepts you're exploring around learner-centered approaches. Price tag for the experience is $15,000 for each team. We have looked at the market. We feel very comfortable about the price point and the experience that's all being included in this. So just want to very transparently put that out on the screen. But several folks have asked for that information here recently. If you go to the next screen here, I want to take a little bit of time and just kind of talk about what happens next. We're going to open up an application window, right? We've already got the number of folks who have expressed interest, right? Interest meaning I'm curious, I want to know more about this. Can you kind of share what the experience is all about? Interest doesn't mean commitment. After the conversation here, and you'll see it in the chat here momentarily, you'll see the link drop for the application. If you truly are very interested and you feel the experience and being part of this micro network here at Learner Centered Collaborative would be meaningful, beneficial to your school community and as a team, I want you to consider submitting an application. And we've been very intentional. We know you're busy folks. We know it's the fourth quarter, school year's almost over with. We've created an application that we think is super simple and very easy to fill out. More importantly, it's quick. It shouldn't take you more than just a few minutes. Definitely shouldn't take you a week. So the application is very easy. Timeline for a flow of events. Application window opens up this moment. We'll close it out there as you see on April 21st. Our plan is to look at applications the tail end of April. Our deadline, our goal, our target is May 1st. We want to reach out to individual districts who've applied and invite them to participate formally in the first micro network here at Learner Center Collaborative under our Connections initiative. That would be an exciting moment. Another date we're transparently putting out, right? The celebration is just not being part of the cohort, the celebration, the ultimate celebration. This is true learner centered here around our vision, mission, and values. The true celebration is on June 6th. We'll convene our first micro network for the first time, and we'll start that co-designed experience. Again, we want to hear your learning aspirations, and then we want to go to work over the summer to really start framing up the experience based on what it is you want to get out of it as a small micro network. So again, just approach to the application process. I want to put the dates out for you so that you know, share the information about the experience, but also the information for you as well as around the price as well. All this is located on our website. If you look on our landing screen, there'll be a button or a band that you'll be able to see the idea and the presence of learner-centered connections. You get on the web page, you get some additional information. There's a blog. It's been put out as well, but in addition, you can see the application on our website also. With that being said, Naomi, I think we have ripped through this. Our goal was 30 minutes to talk. We're at 12:27 right now, so we are rocking and rolling. We covered an awful lot, and we're going to come off the screen here just a quick moment, if you don't mind. We covered an awful lot. I want to take a moment to just kind of open it up for conversation. Some people call that Q&A. We'll call it just a nice interactive dialogue to just see what's on your mind, anything that spoke to you as far as a positive, anything that sparked your curiosity. More importantly, if you have some specific questions, we can take some time and answer them as best we possibly can. With that being said, I'm going to pause, take a deep breath. And if you want to throw a question in the chat, feel free. Or if you want to come off a camera and microphone, feel free to jump out, since we have such a very small, intimate group, and we just have some conversation. Lauren, if you ask us the same, we already know that answer is no, we can't.
Hey, Marlon, I'll ask a question.
Sure.
This is Sandy Sema coming from San Francisco. I'm curious, what is the leadership, the kind of the leadership coaching? You said twice during the cohort year. What does that look like?
Yeah, so the leadership side of it, right? So each learner-centered team coming from a school community, what we've kind of framed up is this idea is in between meetings, right? The virtual meeting, the in-person meetings. What we're going to propose to the affinity group is that we create a problem of practice as a team. What we're going to propose is that we take you through this idea of a complex task and give you a chance to go through a collaborative process to work through that collaborative task. The coaching support is throughout that process. Obviously, we want to talk to you and support you and offer you some thought partnership around each stage of the process and what's on your mind and what you're thinking. But also, we just want to be there as a support, right? An educational partner to talk about different leadership things that we can help you develop or even scale or implement as part of your conversations as a team. And then just answer some questions and provide some additional learning, some content and resources around this idea of learner-centered approaches. So just an added value we thought would be beneficial to the micro network that we thought teams would be able to scale.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you for asking the question, Sandy. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. If there are questions, feel free to come off a camera. If there's additional information you feel like you might need, feel free to request that right now. If there are things you're looking for that you did not hear, please reach out to us and let us know. Take just a quick moment, and I'm going to drop in my email address into the chat as well. That way, if you want to reach out to me directly, you're more than welcome to. Happy to schedule one-on-one time with you as you and your team explore the idea of applying for the first micro network here at Learner Centered. We had targeted about 40 minutes for the convening here today, so really appreciate you coming out. On behalf of the Learner Center Collaborative team, just thanks for connecting with us, and thanks for all you do for kids. Thanks for grinding your way through the last part of the school year. If you've already had spring break, just know summer break's right around the corner. So just stay the course in all that you do and just keep doing great work. We'll keep the room open here for a few more minutes. If you want to stick around for any dialogue you need to have, we'll hang out and have that conversation with you. If you need to split and get ready for lunch duty, feel free to split and get ready for lunch duty. Hopefully you don't have kindergarten breakfast where they have all that syrup that gets all over the floor at lunch, right? Not the better kindergarten breakfast. So thank you for being here today. We hope you truly consider being part of the first micro network here at Learner Center and Collaborative Connections. Thanks for joining us. And again, we'll keep the room open here in case you want to have conversation. Guys, have a great rest of the day.